Hello, my name's Sally Ann and I live in Lanzarote, and it's impossible for me to face all of you people face to face and tell you what you did, what you did and how much pain you gave to me and my family. I'll tell you my story. I came to Lanzarote 13 years ago. I was a businesswoman. I was capable of doing a lot of things. I had people working for me. I had no problems at all. And then 5 years ago, I fell off my horse and put myself in critical care in Arrecife General Hospital. My parents flew over. People stayed with me for months and months and months while I tried to sort my life out, tried to learn to walk again, tried to learn to talk again. During that time, I progressively got worse during the last 5 years, and combined with a violent relationship, I developed PTSD. It's still under investigation at the hospital. They really can't work out what's gone wrong. I stopped leaving the house. I lived in my house alone. I have nobody here. Nobody. I couldn't work. I couldn't survive. I couldn't do anything. One of my friends got a little bit concerned about me and my doctor as well, and they suggested I got an assistance dog, and I worked with the local charity here, and we trained Dexter. Dexter's a 5 kilo mini dachshund. He has changed my life. During the time I've had him, both of us have learnt a lot. I've learnt a lot about assistance dogs. I've learned how to train him through the charity here, and we've started going out. We started going to restaurants together. I would go to a supermarket again. I'd go to the bank. There are still some things I can't do. In December last year, 2016, I rang Ryanair on an off chance that I could get Dexter to go to England with me as a surprise for my parents, because at that point I knew so little about the law and about everything. I was told I couldn't go, and I believed them. So I spoke to Ryanair. Ryanair told me, yes, you can fly. At that point, Dexter was still in training, but he was 5 kilos, and they said if he stayed in his bag, he could fly. During that time, I also took him to the other islands on the inter-island planes and trained him for flying. So when he got on the aeroplane in December, for him it was nothing. He took it all in his stride. By the time he was fully trained in March, he'd already travelled on Ryanair 4 times. In May, I decided I wanted to try and venture alone to somewhere else, go on holiday, me and Dexter. How cool would that be? So I rang Ryanair to check, and they told me I couldn't fly anymore. They told me that I couldn't even fly into Europe. I couldn't use their company to fly to the UK. I couldn't go anywhere. At that point, I had a complete breakdown. I was crying. I was inconsolable for 4 days. The thought of not being able to see my parents again. You have no idea how that affected me. The girl in Ireland, the girl in Dublin at Ryanair, told me it was because the regulations had changed in March. But what regulations had changed in March? I knew nothing about any regulations changing in March. We travelled in March. And everything, there was nothing to change as far as I could see. Dexter wasn't an Addy dog because there is no Addy in Lanzarote. At that point, I tried to contact Addy in Spain, in Madrid, but they didn't want to know. I have a mental illness, a mental health problem. They don't train for it. They didn't want to know. That I sent them messages, they didn't reply. I had no access to Addy or Addy UK. I was grounded. During that time, I also did a lot of research with the Facebook pages on owner training, and I learnt an awful lot. And I also found out that somebody had gone behind our backs without saying anything to anybody and got the CAA to recognise only ADUK and ADI. Do you know how that affected my life? Have you any idea what that did to me? My trained assistance dog, my assistance dog that had flown by that time 6 times, suddenly couldn't fly because he hadn't got ADDI qualifications. Now, how the hell on a 35-mile Long Island am I supposed to get an ADDI qualification? You have no idea how difficult it is. Even to train an assistance dog here, there is one charity, not just on Lanzarote, but on all of the Canary Islands. We trained with that charity. We've got public access for 7 years. My dog's no threat to anybody. He behaves perfectly well. In the end, Ryanair decided they were going to give me an opportunity, this is how stupid they are, to go to England in August to get my ADDI certificate. As if you can just get an ADDI certificate. It caused me so much upset. I took the flights and thinking they were my last flights to the UK ever. And of course we couldn't get an ADDI certificate. We couldn't do anything in the 2 weeks we were there. But I took the tickets, and this time Dexter was fully qualified and sat under the seats. I have 2 videos of him taking off and landing. Absolutely no problem whatsoever. He negotiated the airport perfectly because the training he had done here was so good, and the flights he'd done before made him perfect. We came back in August and we couldn't fly ever again, leaving Birmingham Airport saying goodbye to my parents. Knowing the chances were I couldn't fly again was heartbreaking. Because despite the CAA safety notice being changed in June, none of the airlines would now recognise it. They were convinced because they'd been told that the only good dogs are ADDI dogs or ADDI UK dogs, that any other dog is a danger on the aeroplane. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you say that an organisation that doesn't train all over Europe, that doesn't train all over the world, is the only organisation that dogs can be registered with to fly? Well, you can't register with ADDI anyway. The pain and stress that this has caused me and my family is beyond belief. I can't even tell you how I've suffered and how my family have suffered. I have finally got one of the airlines to talk to me. Oddly enough, the only airline that wasn't in your secret meetings. Your meetings that you held behind the back of everybody, that nobody knew about, that changed the safety notice that caused the problems in the first place. The only airline to listen permitted me to fly and buy tickets to fly at Christmas. I'm flying to the UK on the 26th of December. Every day I worry and panic and have panic attacks and anxiety. Until I am sat on that plane, I will not believe that I can fly, because I'm waiting for one of you lot to go behind my back and stab me in the back again, to cause more problems. For what? For what? Why did you do that? Why did you do that to us? Who are you? Do you have no idea how difficult it is as an expat to live abroad with no contact with your family other than those flights to the UK? And you stopped those flights for me. You should be ashamed of what you've done. And I can't see you and I can't look in your eyes and say to you, shame on you. But I'm saying it to you now in the only way I can. Shame on you. Because we're all suffering now because of somebody's ego, because somebody went behind our backs to the CAA and changed a notice to cause nothing but suffering. I just pray we can get this reversed now, because my only airline that I can fly with, what if they change their mind? What if you lot get to them too? I can't. I've tried to persuade Ryanair, TUI, Thomas Cook that the CAA notice has been changed, to look at it, to consider my dog that has flown 8 times to the UK and into Ireland. But they won't listen, because somebody told them that they were the only people who could train assistance dogs. Shame on you.